Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, it's David here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk Dragon Quest again, which is really exciting. Dragon Quest XI was an amazing success. It sold over 7 million copies across PC and all platforms. It was released 6 years ago already, so clearly people's eye are on Dragon Quest now, the series in general, more than ever, with a lot of spin-offs releasing in between. Dragon Quest Treasures, we have monsters coming back and everything. It is a big deal. So when in May of 2021, Square Enix announced during a 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest livestream, Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, and also the remake of Dragon Quest III HD 2D, fans were extremely excited for both of these new releases, but sadly for both of them, it's been very calm in terms of news and information and trailers and everything. So today I am here to give you guys all the information that we have, to give you all the info, basically everything that we know so far about Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. I also did the exact same thing for Dragon Quest III HD 2D, so if you're interested, click the little card up on screen, or you can click the link in the description once you're done with this video to check out everything that we know so far about Dragon Quest III. But today we're focusing on Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, so let's get right into it. So as I mentioned, the game was revealed first in May of 2021, and a lot of information was given to us, although the trailer itself, the teaser trailer, was sadly just under a minute long, which is basically just a showcase for the logo of the game, which looks good, actually. You can see it's kind of darker than what we're used to with Dragon Quest, but a fine logo regardless. Nothing else was given, though, as far as information goes in the trailer, but the name and the logo of the game, under a minute long. That being said, Yuji Horii was interviewed, did a couple of outlets, Yuji Horii being the creator of Dragon Quest, of course, and a lot of information came out right after the stream. So we know that they're aiming for a worldwide release of that game. What that means is when Japan gets the game, we get it in the West as well, and other places in the world as well. So it's going to release on the same day globally, which is always a good thing, because with these series like Dragon Quest, old Japanese series, it sometimes can take months or years for the game to be localized to the West, so it's always good to see it on the same day. The game is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, which is a first for Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest XI looked really good on all platforms, so we now have Unreal Engine 5, which if you guys have played some games or have seen some gameplay footage and trailers of games that are being made in Unreal 5, they look great, so we can expect Dragon Quest XII to look freaking fantastic as well. Now, again, Yuji Horii did say as well that they are definitely looking at the future of this series as a whole with Dragon Quest XII. They're developing that game with the 10 and 20 years future of Dragon Quest in mind, so they kind of want to have this pillar IP with 12 and kind of build on it, right? Let me give an example. Let's say the NES games, the Famicom games back in the day, they had 1 and then they did 2 and 3, which looked really similar, and then they moved to 4, 5, and 6, had a lot of similarities as well. So what I'm thinking is they want to have a new platform for 12, which is basically for the next 10 to 20 years, which can seem like a lot, actually. Horii also said that some of the elements, the core elements of the battle system, will be changed for Dragon Quest XII, so this one's been a topic of discussion ever since the game was revealed, because we obviously know with a lot of role-playing games and even at Square Enix, some series like Final Fantasy, which was always turn-based and a classic turn-based system, moving on to action-based with full-on Devil May Cry style with FF16, there's worries and there's questions that are asked about Dragon Quest, which to me are fair concerns and fair questions to ask the developers. Well, Horii here is saying that they are working on changing core elements of the combat system, so does that mean they're moving to something along the lines of a Final Fantasy VII remake for Dragon Quest XII, or are they keeping turn-based but adding their twist to it, like changing core elements of a turn-based system? I think is possible as well. So this one is very unclear. They also said in terms of gameplay that the game will be much darker. They're developing it with an adult audience in mind. Now, Dragon Quest, they had adult teams in the past, but you're not going to see a head get chopped up, for example, but they are going to allude to certain adult teams. Kind of want to make it darker with this release, apparently. So this one, maybe we see more blood, maybe we see more arms get chopped off or something, it gets more bloody, or they had like adult themes and elements like sex, for example. Ooh, sex, right? Everything's possible. We don't really know what they're going to do, but definitely something interesting to keep an eye on. it could just be something like FF16 as well, right? If you look at FF16, it looks more adult-oriented than something like 15, for example. Again, I think this is what we should expect from Dragon Quest XII here. Decision making will have a big role in Dragon Quest XII. This thing is new. This is new for Dragon Quest, and that is very exciting. It's going to have a big role, which means that you are going to have dialogue options. And I assume that depending on what you're picking as far as choices goes, it can have an impact on the story or the character's reaction to what you're saying. It's not going to be character dialogue options, and no matter what you pick, the character is going to say the same thing. It's going to change into, it's going to lead into something different. Maybe they do something like Shin Megami Tensei, where if you pick a certain option at certain times, or you do a certain thing, you take a certain decision, you're not even going to get the same ending as if you took this other decision. Persona did the same thing. Atlas is familiar with that. Maybe Square is looking at that and trying to implement this. So this is all the information that we got when the game was first revealed. So you'll see that with Dragon Quest XII, we don't have much info, but we do have more info, strangely enough, than Dragon Quest III HD 2D, which they've been extremely silent about. Now that was for May 2021 for the original reveal of the game. For the next news, we had to wait until November of the same year, that is November of 2021, where Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, was trademarked by Square Enix. So this happened in November, but more interestingly, something else happened in November of 2021, and that is a big leak. The biggest leak of that year, actually, which you guys might have heard of it. It is the Nvidia GeForce Now Leak, where a bunch of games were leaked by a bunch of different studios, including Square Enix. Square Enix had some of their biggest titles leaked, like Kingdom Hearts 4, Chrono Cross Remaster was leaked, and all of that turned out to be true. Some of them were not confirmed as of now. Tactics Ogre was also one of them. Final Fantasy IX Remake is one that was on the list that was not confirmed yet. Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate was on that list. And you're gonna say, David, why are you bringing this up? I'm simply bringing this up because if you notice during the initial reveal, Square Enix didn't say anything about the platforms that this game would release on. Well, if it is on the Nvidia GeForce Now leak, and the leak is clearly accurate, you can totally expect a PC version of Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. So this is why I wanted to bring it up. It had a placeholder release date on the leak of January 1st, 2023, which obviously that did not happen, but still leads me to believe that they might have been aiming for a 2023 release with Dragon Quest XII if they gave that placeholder date to Nvidia. Maybe it's a day that Nvidia came up with themselves though. All of that to say, Dragon Quest XI was on all consoles and PC. I expect Dragon Quest XII, depending on how big they're making it, I expect it to be on a lot of systems and not be an exclusive. I think it's going to be on all platforms and near launch too, not like Dragon Quest XI where it took months, even years to release on other platforms. I think 12 is going to be a safe bet on a lot of platforms, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. So if you don't know me, I'm a big multi-platform enjoyer. I do have all platforms, but I want more people to be able to experience great games. So let's hope Dragon Quest XII is on a lot of platforms. Not too concerned about PC though. That is for November of 2021. Now for more news, you have to go right from November 2021 to January of 2023. Yeah, they have been very silent about that project. So 2022 went and just disappeared straight up with no news about the game. So in January, what happened is something strange. The Dragon Quest XII logo was updated. It was updated on a career recruitment site from Square Enix, so it's a site that Square Enix is using to recruit people, right? And they just updated the logo of Dragon Quest XII. So Gematsu, you can see the tweet right now, they changed the logo a little bit from the old logo to the new one. It still looks very similar to what you saw in the trailer, but they changed it a little bit. That's what happened in January of this year. Now, 2 months ago in June, something else happened. Yuji Horii, once again, was interviewed, but this time by Den Faminiko Gamer in Japan, and Noisy Pixel translated the interview to give us some decent information about the development of Dragon Quest XII. And Yuji Horii basically said that there has been struggle in development of the game because they're targeting an adult audience, and then he laughed. He's like, this is different for us. We're not used to that. So they're again for a second time talking about their target audience being adults. So it's interesting. You're kind of like, oh, I honestly feel like when we're gonna see Dragon Quest XII, we're gonna see something very different. Good or bad, I don't know, but I'm expecting Dragon Quest XII to be very different than anything else in the series. We'll have to wait and see. He also mentioned remote work, which obviously had impacts with the pandemic and everything. It changed a lot of things. Certain companies and certain studios were able to adapt quicker than others. Apparently, it changed things at Square Enix and the Dragon Quest team, so we will have to wait and see. But since June of 2023, nothing else was given as far as information goes. We have Dragon Quest, the Infinity's Trash game with the Adventure of Dai. That is coming out in a couple of weeks as of the time of recording this video. We have Dragon Quest Monsters releasing in December. I think Dragon Quest III HD 2D is going to release before Dragon Quest XII, and I fully expect a 2024 release date for the remake of 3. So I'm thinking 3 releases soonish next year, and if we're lucky we get a release date for early 2025. That would be awesome for 12. We will have to wait and see. I'm thinking Tokyo Game Show this year should be / could be the next place where Square gives us information. Fingers are crossed though. What do you guys think of all the information that we have on Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate? I'm excited for it. I'm cautiously excited for it though, because if you've seen some of my older content here on the channel a few days back, I uploaded a video about Final Fantasy and the changes that this series brought to the table and the impact that it had on me, which was not a positive impact with how much I enjoy Final Fantasy. And I'm way more looking towards Dragon Quest nowadays versus Final Fantasy, so I'm hoping that they do something good with 12. I'm confident in Yuji Horii, the creator of the series, and also the development team at Square, so hopefully we see something good, and hopefully we see something soon. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Drop a quick thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It's a big help, helps people find my channel, and if you're new to the channel, if you want more content on anything in terms of RPGs, Atlas, and more, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell as well, and we'll see you guys very soon for another video. Bye.